Hi, Mark.
Hey, Emily, how you going?
I'm good, how are you?
You're not really dressed for vet work.
I know.
Hey?
You got any boots I can
I
borrow?
think you need some boots and probably take the jacket off and we can get you started.
Sounds good.
This is a half to Crosshaven.
Oh, wow.
So Iris Colleen, she foaled 5 days ago.
And what are we going to do today with her?
Okay, so you can just see she's probably had a little bit of discharge post-foaling, which is probably not abnormal, but since she's here, we'll just put a hand in us, have a look on the scan, just see if there's any fluid and whether or not we need to use any other drugs. So, okay, so this is what we're actually looking for. So this is all fluid in the uterus, okay?
Yep.
So we really want that evacuated. We will use some oxytocin, and we will do that for 2 or 3 days, and we might just give her a little bit of phenylbutazone just to try and shrink that uterus down, and then we'll look at her in 3 days' time.
How did you end up at the helm of Haunui Farm?
Dad's father started off as a buyer of yearlings actually, and then started a stud in the early 70s. Dad was a sheep and beef cattle farmer, played polo, had a slight interest in racing. Grandfather died, he took over. The family farm was based in Whitford. We were living in Pukekawa. I was a kid at a rural school, did the ag days, mainly lambs, so learned a little bit of the showing side even just then. Went to King's College, probably with that style of education, just being a farmer probably wasn't going to cut it quite. So had an interest through my grandparents were great friends with Dr. Charles Robertson and June, and so got an opportunity to sort of go in the car. He was vet 30, so I always remember vet in the days of RTs, it was vet 30 to base and all that sort of stuff. We saw some pretty gruesome stuff during those times, and just worked our way. I worked at the Auckland Vet Centre, and then when we basically finished the Rawa Haunui partnership, I basically came in from being working solely as an equine vet for 10 years, then came into Haunui and started working not only vet-wise but also management-wise. Was
it a difficult decision to leave the veterinary work and come to the stud?
Not really, because I could control what I wanted to try and achieve, and I'd have been happy to be part of a really big vet practice, but I didn't want to put the time into the other things that go with the vet practice. So I was quite happy to come away from it and basically take what I'd learnt from that and apply it to Haunui. So it wasn't a hard decision.
Growing up as a stud master's son, what was that like?
Dad, I didn't go out and work at other studs because I was doing the vet side of it. But I put yearlings through. I put a lot of yearlings through the ring. I enjoyed the showing side. I really admired Sir Patrick and the way that he presented his yearlings. But no, there was never any pressure because I think in this game you've got to love it to want to carry on doing it. It's a labour of love. It's 24/7. You're tied to it. And that's what you see in a lot of the New Zealand studs.
You've got kids of your own. What's their interest like in the stud?
Very mixed and varied. Matthew wants to be a racing manager straight up. He can read a race. Liv, she's our eldest, and she's done a couple of yearling prep. She's doing nursing in Wellington. She's going to come back and just do a 7-week part of the prep. Put her first yearling through this last year, showcasing fillies, so that was pretty cool. Second daughter Ella is animal phobic, I suppose. She just doesn't, animals just aren't her thing. Matthew likes it, and then the youngest Daniel, he likes animals, but he's his own person. So you got to love it. You got to want to do it, like anything. But farm-wise, it's really hard succession. It's very hard to succession plan unless they've got a real passion for it. And it's a bit like sport. Don't try and get them in too early. Make them find their way, and if they find their way into it, awesome. If not, so be it. So what we're going to do here is a scan. So what we're trying to look for is a pregnancy. So there's a follicle on the left ovary. There is the pregnancy. So that pregnancy there is a 12-day pregnancy, but that's that's a good result. So this mare here is a nice stakes hunting mare by Stratum Mistrum, and she's had a couple of foals to the races and a winner. It's an Ifraj colt, and she has been to Bellardo, and we're doing a 30 day?
29.
Yep, 29, and there you go, and there's your
there it
pregnancy.
is. Yep.
So this is a bit, so if you look in there, you can see the heart beating away.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's a good healthy heartbeat, which is what you want to see. So that's sort of, that's the better part of it, because it's scanning and it's scanning positive, and that's what we want.
That's the next
more foals.
champion.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Mark, what are you most proud of here at Haunui?
That was still going, I suppose, after 60 years. Look, I think year in, year out, we've had some very good racehorses come off the farm. You know, possibly the greatest is right now with Melody Bell. You know, we had a horse like Showmanship win 7 out of 8 in the Melbourne Spring Carnival, and probably that's the judge of, you know, how well you're going. You know, and I think we've had clients for a long period of time, and you don't keep clients unless they're satisfied with what you're doing. So I think the legacy of time, still being able to produce and still creating, you know, we've brought a new horse in like Ribchester, not resting on our laurels. Whatever comes next, who knows?
Why do you do what you do?
Oh, because I enjoy it. You know, it's not a job. You know, I mean, that is the cliche, you know, if you love your work, you're not really working, but I've always enjoyed animals. I enjoy the challenge of trying to produce a fast racehorse, trying to select them. That's really difficult. You know, as a contemporary said the other day, we all retain the ability to purchase a very slow racehorse, no matter where we are. So that's all part of the game, and anyone can play. Anyone can play in this game. It's exciting, and I think the future's bright.